I'm Richard Flanagan. I go by the name of Dick. When I left the service, I was a radioman second class. I have two stories that I thought about, which were kind of scary. After we came out of the shipyard up there, you had to go into test step, which means you took the boat down to 312 feet and made sure that it wasn't, you didn't have any leaks or anything else. So we're going down, and we're down about, I don't know, maybe 150 feet or 200 feet, and all of a sudden I'm in the radio shack and water starts coming in.
Could you describe where the radio shack is on the submarine?
It's in the control room. It sits in a little corner, and it was L-shaped like this, okay? And there were two positions in there that you face the wall, and behind us was a big transmitter, and this had a bunch of receivers over on this end, and I had a typewriter, and it was a typewriter, and we only had one guy on, on duty at a time, but they had enough for two. And so I said to the captain, I said, Captain, we have there's water coming in, I said, in the radio shack. And he said, how bad is it? I said, well, it's starting to come in pretty bad. He said, I'll be right there. So he comes in, and he says, oh. He says, go get not me, but one of the other guys, get my foul weather gear, and get a couple of officers their foul weather gear, and we'll put it on the transmitters and receivers. So, sure enough, now we're going down, and it's coming in more and more and more as the deeper we go. And finally, we got down to 312 feet, and it was coming in pretty steady. And he says, we're down here, we made it 312 feet, take us up. And we surfaced. And that was a scary situation, I'll tell you. It was coming from one of the periscopes. The tacking on one of the periscopes was leaking. And so, of course, we went back into the shipyard and they fixed the leak and we were fine. And then another time, this was scarier. We were operating out in Long Island Sound. And before I get to that, I slept in the after torpedo room, and I slept in the top bunk, top rack, and if I went in on my back, I had to stay on my back. If I went in on my stomach, I had to stay on my stomach because the pipes were right above me like this. Right here was a battle lantern, and over here was the stern plane tilting motor. So I'd climb up the tubes, and if I wanted to sleep on my stomach, I'd pull myself up, the bottom of the rack was here, and I pull myself up, all the way up, and go to sleep. But I could not roll over because there was no room for me to roll over. If I wanted to read, I'd go in on my back and I'd pull myself up, right? Well, nobody ever hot bunked with me. Hot bunk meant that when we had a full complement aboard and somebody was off duty, right, or on duty or off duty, if you were sleeping or you weren't sleeping, they would jump into your rack and sleep, right? And nobody wanted to get into my rack because it was too tough to get into. So I didn't have any problems with that. But when we dove, the stern plane tilting motor used to vibrate. And it had a shield on it, a metal shield, right? And it used to kick hydraulic oil across and hit this metal thing and fall down into the pit. And then after it got enough oil in there, then we drain it and put it back in. So, but when it got pretty bad, this would vibrate back, and our bunks, they had what they called a fart sack. It was a piece of white leather like this, right? And your actual your sheet was in that, okay? So, and you'd close it up, right, if you weren't using it. So I put that up, and I had it positioned so that, because if it slid down too much, the hydraulic oil would go right across my rack, right? So I put this part sack up there, and to keep it so it would go in. And I never got, well, occasionally I'd get it, you know, I'd be asleep or something, and all of a sudden, I'd get some hydraulic oil shooting right across my rack. So, but as I was starting to say about the other was, we were operating in Long Island Sound, and I was in the Radio Shack, and we took a bad down angle. The bubble got away from the stern. You had the bow planes and the stern planes, and the bubble got away from them. And instead of taking an angle like maybe 6-7 degrees, we got between 15 and 20 degrees. And we weren't in that deep of water. I guess we were only in about 120 feet or something like that. And we hit bottom. And we sheared off that $300,000 hydrophone, which now would probably be $5 million. And with that much of a down angle, in the after torpedo room, you know, you lash your torpedoes to skids, right? And then you push them in that way, and you pull them out. And so with a down angle, we're in the after torpedo room now. So the down angle, the torpedo is, the front is here, and the back is here. And it broke loose from the skids, and it went right through the crew's shower in the after torpedo room and hit the bulkhead in the maneuvering room. And thank God no one was in taking a shower, because he wouldn't be alive today. So those were two unfortunate stories that happened. It's a plainsman, but it was actually you know, the diving officer. He should have been more aware. I won't mention his name. His father was an admiral. I don't know if he ever stayed in the service.